Season 2, episode 14 of Home Improvement. This kid is gonna watch this girl's fish, this nice Oranda goldfish, and he does horrible. Obviously, too small of a tank. Could be worse. It's really not good, but this kid kills the goldfish within like an hour of the girl dropping it off. He says he put it too close to a hot lamp and it heated up the tank too much and the fish died. But it gets way worse. He takes it out of the bowl, flops it on the counter. They decide they're going to try to find a replacement goldfish that looks like this one from the pet store. So he shoves the dead goldfish in his pocket to take with him. They couldn't find a replacement. They come home and they say, "Oh, I didn't know there was 20 types of goldfish. We couldn't find one that looked just like this one." Since the goldfish floated when it was dead, they stuffed a ball bearing in its mouth so it wouldn't float anymore. I know this is technically not even his tank, but this is a 1 out of 10. It's so horrible. It's time to give these guys an upgrade. They've been waiting a while for it. Gonna be moving them to this back deck here, but first I gotta clean it up. So I'm gonna pressure wash it and I'll repaint it with some nice new deck paint. Then I'm excited to set up a automatic water change system using the rainwater. I'm gonna turn this into a little filter box and hook it up to the downspout so that when it rains, it automatically filters and then fills up the tanks a little more. And I'm also gonna set back up these two. Altogether, it'll be about a 300-gallon system. Time to work on the filter for the downspout. I'm gonna drill a hole, use a little silicone caulking to put it on there. Then I built a little shelf for it on the wall, as you'll see in a second. And then we're gonna do a little water test. And immediately we got some problems. First off, it fills up too fast, so I need a bigger diameter hose going out of it so the water can escape easier. And also my piece at the bottom wasn't watertight, so I need a better bulkhead piece. My water troughs need some TLC. They need some serious painting and cleaning before I use them for my goldfish. So I'm gonna rinse them out with soap and water, scrub them down, pressure wash them. Then I'm gonna give them a light sand before I Flex Seal the inside and outside of them. I'm using Flex Seal because it's non-toxic when completely dried. It'll look better than it is now, and it prevents any bad metals from getting into the water. I sanded and gave it one more rinse before the Flex Seal to make sure it all attaches good. Taped up all my bulkheads and my little window here, and then we spray. Always use your respirator when you're spraying something like this. I'm super happy with how they look completely black. I'll give it a good 24 hours to cure before I turn it over and spray the inside. Also, these troughs are never watertight straight from the store, so this will also clog up any leaks.
Are you okay? Like really? I'm fine. If I'ma be sad, I'ma do it with pizzazz. And shake these feelings.
Alright, I gave up trying to make my own bulkheads. I spent way too long in the Lowe's aisle, so I just bought some on Amazon. And we can finally make some progress on this downspout filter. It was pretty quick and easy. Got some PVC pipe, hooked it all up how I wanted, and I couldn't resist Flex Sealing it so it matched. And voila!
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Okay, moving right along, finishing Flex Sealing the inside of these tanks. It's gonna look so good. It's gonna look good. I put down some sand so that it's nice and flat and smooth where they're gonna go. And man, do they look great. Look at that. I can finally put them in place now. So I attach my overflow hose and the hose that will go to the pump. Put it in place, tighten it all up. And we can put the other tank in. And the downspout filter is also in and it's filling up nicely. Next up, I gotta disassemble this and move it all to the back. So you may be wondering, where are all my goldfish while I'm redoing my outdoor setup? Well, they're all inside together here in the 40-gallon. This is not recommended. I'll do daily water changes till they go back outside, but in the meantime, they're having fun together. Alright, it's all disassembled, and now we work on a new filter box. Put in my pump, I put in some old media and new media so it should cycle really fast. Drilled a bunch of holes in it so the water can go through. So the pump will lead to that connection, and that other side will lead all the way to the first tank. Just the rainwater alone has already filled this tank. So that makes me happy. And over here is where the acrylic tank will go. I put down a piece of plywood first, and then some nice foam on top of it, so that it has something smooth to sit on. The foam just takes extra pressure off the acrylic. Okay, everything's set up for the new system. It's time for the first startup. So the water goes in here after it goes through the heater. I know I could have made the cords look better, just don't say anything, okay? And then it also comes from a UV filter. It's not pretty, but it works. Then it travels all the way back to the filter box and pump in the first tank. Time to fill it up. The rainwater actually filled up about 100 gallons of that. And we can start it. Moment of truth. Beautiful. And I didn't forget about painting the deck. It's just been too wet. But soon. Now you can enjoy some slow-mos of the first water going through the system.
I'm caught inside so. And what am I to do? Pull out his teeth or file down his claws. You know as well.
Time to add my plants. First up, we got my water celery. I'm suspending it by some chain because it grows better when the leaves are above water. Now I'm going to repot my water hawthorn and water lily in some terracotta. And we're just going to throw them in here. I'm not too worried about the dirt, it'll all clear up. They don't look like much now, but they'll grow to the surface of the water. What happens if my rainwater overflows my tanks? Well, I have a little overflow right here. If the water level gets too high, it drains out of there, goes to the grass, waters the lawn. It also helps me keep track of the water level based on how close it is to the overflow. So I lose some water here when it's not raining much, and also some water here at the main spout. And I know it's not much, but it adds up over time, so I'm going to fix it. I put down some garden fabric to keep the garbage out of the tank. We're going to sand it up, and I'm going to add some elbows to this. They'll point the water straight down, and I hopefully won't lose any more water. I know it's not an amazing connection, but it's not a house, so. Looks good so far, but you know me, I gotta have it match. So I'm gonna flex seal it, let it cure, and then get it up and running again. See, now that's way better. Yeah, so pretty much I'm just upgrading my goldfish setup. I still have a couple things to do. I'm gonna paint this deck because it looks terrible. I'll get some more plants probably, and then I'll add the goldfish. I'm open to suggestions if there's anything else I should add too. Alright, so I just caught Mr. Tofu eating some of the head growth off of blubbles again. I was doing a fishless cycle on this tank, but this guy just earned himself a spot in the cycle. Yeah, not so fun when you get picked on, is it? Okay, this will sit in here for 15 minutes to adjust to the temperature. You asked for this. You did this to yourself. Okay, you may now be released from the zippy. Come here, you little so-and-so. There we go. Yeah, you lonely? That's what happens when you bite my friends.
You hold me every day I wake up, then I start to break up lonely.
Yeah, you're probably used to seeing this kind of goldfish at the pet store. These are common or comet goldfish. They're really only meant for feeding other fish or animals, not super great as pets. These are fancy goldfish. They are meant to be kept as pets. You can look up lists of all the different types, but I'll tell you what these ones are. Starting at top left, we have a crown pearl scale, top right, a Ryukin, middle left, an Aranda, middle right, a Dimican, bottom left, a bubble eye goldfish, and bottom right, a Ranchu. Look at this huge black moor fancy goldfish. He's at my local pet store. Should I get him? He's super ugly, but also super cute. I'd say he's about 10 years old. I just don't know if I want to spend $55 on a fish that looks like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Here he is next to my hand so you can see how big he is. Is it bad to use the rainwater in my aquarium? Honestly, it could be. There are some risks and things that could go wrong, but here's what I'm doing to counteract those. First off, rainwater is usually too soft, meaning there's not enough minerals in it, and goldfish do better in water with more minerals. So counteracting that is as easy as adding sand, wood, terracotta pots, and other stuff. As far as parasites and bacteria, I'm counting on this UV filter to sterilize it before it even touches the goldfish. It should kill everything. Also, I mean, they do come around, but I don't usually have birds on my roof. We'll see how it goes. If it goes bad, I'll unhook it.
Please feed me. I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten in so long. Please. It's been like an hour. Please feed me. Please. I'm so hungry. Please.
Yeah, so a lot of people think that this is going to be a mosquito breeding ground, but that's probably not going to be the case. Mosquito lay their larvae in stagnant water like this. This is moving water. If this does make a lot of mosquitoes, this is the solution. Just a little underwater fan to agitate the water more. Head growth, or wen, that's this jelly stuff here on the head. Cantaloupe here has wen too. They are bred to have it, it's decorative. This big bubble on the head is also another example of wen. It's actually a mutation, but us weird goldfish keepers like how it looks. Only certain breeds of fancy goldfish have wen. Okay, it's been exactly 151 days since I last weighed them. I only weighed 4 of them last time. Let's see how much they grew. Tofu went from 0.6 ounces to 1.2. Breadstick has gone from 0.6 ounces to 0.9 ounces. Mr. Tomato has grown the most. He went from 0.6 ounces to 1.9 ounces. And Sesame has gone from 0.7 ounces to 1 ounce. It's interesting, at the beginning they all pretty much weighed close to the same, but now they weigh such different amounts. They haven't all been in the same tank this whole time. But I think the growth differences just amount to different genetics. Alright, it's finally been dry enough for me to paint this deck. I did pressure wash it in preparation for this a couple weeks ago. First I cut in around all the edges and then I got to rolling. I think it's really funny how close to the same color it is, even though this is a completely different paint. I've waited so many weeks to do this. This has been like the worst weather spring I can remember. But it was worth the wait.
Your help is on the way. Sing yourself a song away.
That is so much better. So I want 1 fish in each of these black tanks to help keep them clean, eat bugs, snail eggs, and algae. Tofu is an easy candidate for one of them. He doesn't get along well with others. Then there's Fishery Bezos. He's a strong, healthy fish, but I'm just not that attached to him. So he'd be perfect for the other black tank. I'll acclimate him like normal first and then put him in. These tanks are a little more exposed than the main tank. Their only escape from predators would be the plant coverage and the depth of the tanks. I would be sad if they got eaten, but not that sad.
First rub of the new tank, it was getting real dang. All this such is good news, this cycle's going great.
I found this 35-gallon pond for 20 bucks on OfferUp, so I bought it, and we're gonna clean it up a little bit. I always try to really clean well new tanks or ponds before introducing my goldfish. You never know what animal was in this, what kind of bacteria or parasites could be in it. I'd rather not introduce anything new to my goldfish. I might use this as a quarantine tank or for breeding. All clean. I don't have anything fancy for lights, but I did find this at a garage sale this week. Let's see if it works. Yes, that's nice. So yeah, it's just 2 simple grow lights from Amazon. In the future, I'd like something more fancy. So I wanted to put some temporary mesh on here to keep plants from going over the spillway and to keep plants from going in the overflow. I actually found this mesh at a garage sale for like $1 score. I figured a hot glue gun would be the easiest way to attach it in a temporary way that's pretty solid, and I'm happy with how it attached. But I do want to find a more permanent solution because this will clog with plants. If anybody has an idea on how to keep plants back from the spillway and the overflow, leave it in the comments. I'm going to go to the store and get some more floating plants, so my next video will be me getting those and putting them in here. That's a good little temporary solution. And then we put the one here on the overflow. I'm actually really pleased how the hot glue gun worked for this. I'll have to remember it for other stuff too. And I know I could just Google it, but does anybody know if hot glue gun is safe for aquariums?
Arms around me, baby. Put your arms around me, baby. I just wanna fly. Put your arms around me, baby. Put your arms around me, baby. Yeah.
Okay, I want some new plants for my ponds, and there's a great little local shop that has a bunch. They also have a cool pond with some goldfish. So first up, I got some fairy moss. Good little floating plant. It'll definitely clog my spillway. I had to move it to the other tank like the day after this. But it looks cool. I also got a bunch of duckweed. Goldfish love to eat this, so. And I also bought a couple little water lettuce to see if I can get them to grow. I was really pleased because I bought my water hawthorn from the same shop as these plants. And when I told them it was still alive, they were super surprised. They said all theirs had died.